Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go over to the practice problems for the first half of the week. Shit. So, first we'll start with just, these graphing the lines and getting intercepts from a graph. So, remember that to graph a line, we need M and B. So, B is our y-intercept, which is the starting point, right? And our slope, which is the number attached to x, is our rise over run. So if there's no number attached to x, that means there's a 1 there. And if it's a whole number instead of a fraction, we just put it over 1. So since it's positive 1, we're going to go up 1, right 1. And I'm going to do that all the way across the graph. When I can't go up and right, I go down and left. I like going all the way across the graph because it makes for better lines. Okay. So there's my line. My x-intercept is where it touches the x-axis, so the point -3, 0. And the y-intercept is where it touches the y-axis, so the point 0, 3. Cool. This one, same sort of thing. We need M and B. So B is -2, which is my starting point on the y-axis. My M is -1/3. So since it's negative, I'm going to go down and right. So I go down 1 space and right 3. I'm going to do that as many times as I can. And then I'm going to go up and left. I'm going to do that as many times as I can. So now I'm going to connect to my dots. And there you go. All right, another reason why it's good to go all the way across the graph for these is because we're looking for intercepts. And as you know, sometimes when you just draw a line, even if you use a ruler, it can, kind of be off a little bit. So it's always good to use rise over run. Anyway, so my x-intercept is where it touches the x-axis, so the point -6, 0. And the y-intercept is where it touches the y-axis, so the point 0, -2. All right. So the other thing we worked on this week was finding intercepts in standard form. Standard form is pretty handy because it's actually pretty easy to find intercepts with. Because the way you find intercepts from an equation is just by plugging in 0. So for this one, to find the x-intercept, I plug in 0 for y. And with there not even being a number in front of x, I don't even have to solve that. It just tells me. Now when I plug in 0 for x, essentially it just goes away. So I get -4y = 28. And the only thing I have to do is divide both sides by 4. So I get y = -7. So my two intercepts are the point 28, 0, and 0, -7. Those are my two intercepts. Okay. With this one, if I plug in 0 for x, anything times 0 is 0. So it's just going to go away. So I'll get 5y = -15. To solve for y, I just have to divide by 5. So I get y = -3, which would be the point 0, -3. That's my y-intercept. For my x-intercept, I plug in 0 for y, which, since anything times 0 is 0, essentially makes it go away. So when I solve this, oops, I forgot my 1. I just have to divide both sides by 3, and I get x = -5. So my x-intercept is the point -5, 0. Okay, this one, same concept. I'm going to plug in 0 for x to get the y-intercept. So I divide both sides by -7. and I get y equals 3. So my y-intercept is the point 0, 3. Don't forget that intercepts are points. They're not just numbers, right? So anyway, to get the x-intercept, I plug in 0 for y, which essentially just makes it go away. So I get 4x equals negative 21. Now 21 does not divide by 4 evenly, so we're just going to leave that as negative 21/4. So my x-intercept is negative 21/4 x. In general, it's better to keep it in fractions because fractions tend to be more precise. Sometimes you have to round decimals. So fractions are better. Okay, last one. Same thing. To get the y-intercept, I plug in 0 for x and I get 5y equals negative 5. So I just divide both sides by 5 and I get that y equals negative 1. So my y-intercept is the point 0, negative 1. Then, to get the x-intercept, I plug in 0 for y. I get 2x equals negative 5. When I divide both sides by 2, I get that x equals negative 5 halves. So my x-intercept in this case is negative 5 halves, 0. So that was the practice of, hopefully you guys are checking yourself. Normally we do that over the live meet, but I was not able to do that. Anyway, the second half of the week is going to be over more stuff with standard form. So, I guess that's it. Okay.